As we step into the new year, it's important that we take a moment and reflect on the year which has gone by to try and understand what are the good things which we achieved in the previous year and what are the things which we can improve upon. In today's video, I'll attempt to do the same on personal finance. I'll audit and analyze the personal finance of last year and basis that try to note down some points which can help improve and streamline the way we handle our money matters. Hi, I'm Nishant Gupta, your personal finance consultant, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel Save More Money, where I simplify personal finance and help you become financially independent. Let us begin with the very obvious thing, emergency cover. We all know that we need emergency cover, and I'm sure that you all will have an emergency cover. But what is more important is how much of emergency cover do you have? If you are still living in a world where you think 6 to 8 times the monthly expense is enough, then I'm sorry to say, but this is not sufficient now. With rising inflation, changes in the way job cuts are happening, with lifestyle increase and increasing experience which makes job switch difficult, it's more important to have a higher emergency corpus now. So instead of 6 to 8% of emergency corpus, my recommendation will be that you maintain a corpus which can last for 10 to 12 months of your monthly expenses. And another thing which you have to notice, where you park your emergency corpus. Are you parking your emergency corpus in savings account, FD or RD, which normally give 2, 3, 4% interest? Or are you parking it in liquid mutual funds, hybrid funds, debt funds or something else which gives you 4, 5, 6% of returns but are slightly more risky? It's your discretion, but my recommendation again will be to park it in liquid funds which are less risky and which can give you higher returns. And if you're someone who says that I cannot park it in liquid funds because it will take 2 to 3 days of time for me to get back my money and it's an emergency in which I need the money, then again I do not agree with you. Just spend the time to think why you need emergency money. You normally need emergency money in case of emergency hospitalization or in case you lose your job. In case of hospitalization, well, you have your medical insurance, and if that is not working, then you should be having credit card. Credit cards are accepted by 99% of hospitals in India. So having emergency fund only for hospitalization need and keeping it in savings account does not make sense. Coming to job loss, well, if you lose your job, you know that you have lost your job and you will need time. So as soon as you lose your job, draw the money from liquid funds. It will come in your bank account in 3 working days, and that's when you can utilize it. So have a look at your emergency corpus, ensure that it's 10 to 12 times of your monthly expenses. If it is not, refill it and park it in a liquid fund or a debt fund or hybrid liquid fund which is passive in nature. That way your emergency corpus will keep growing and you do not have to refill it again and again. Again, life insurance is very critical. We all know why we need term insurance and we must have taken it. But the problem is, again, due to inflation, rising cost, rising income and many other things, what was applicable 3 years earlier might not be applicable today. 3 years earlier, if I had taken a term insurance of say 1 crore rupees, it might not be sufficient for my family needs today. I might need a term insurance of 2 crores today. So have a look at the term insurance which you have and accordingly either top up your term insurance or buy a new term insurance only for 1 crore additionally. And one tip, buy only plain vanilla basic term insurance. Do not fall into the trap of buying money back term insurance, cashback term insurance which gives you back money or pension till retirement. Do not go for all those options. Buy pure term insurance policy. One another thing which you should note, buy term insurance only if you have financial liabilities or there are members in your family who are dependent on you. If you do not have any financial liabilities And if there are no dependents on you, then you do not need a term insurance. What will you do with the money in bank if you do not have any dependents or you do not have any liabilities after you die? Your money will go waste. So why do you even buy it? So think of that. Now coming to the health insurance part, health insurance, you'll have to see whether the health insurance is sufficient for your family needs or not. Check if there are any members who have become adults and can be moved out of your dependent clause as they have started earning income on their own. If yes, reduce your number of members in the family and accordingly your premium might change. Similarly, if you feel that your health insurance is on a lesser side, you can either buy a new health insurance or you can port your health insurance policy from one insurance provider to another, or you can simply top up your existing health insurance policy. If you port your health insurance policy, you will not lose out on the benefits offered by your previous company. You will retain the benefit related to no claim bonus and the waiting period in the new insurance policy as well. If you opt to increase your sum assured in the existing policy or buy a new policy with increased sum assured, then you will have to serve the waiting period for that particular increased amount in the new policy or in the existing policy as well. So have a look at your insurance cover, think about what is the requirement of your family, and accordingly ensure that you have the right health insurance cover. And remember that instead of buying individual policies of health insurance, it's better to have a family floater plan wherein you, your spouse and your dependent children are covered, and have your dependent parents in a separate health insurance policy. If you club the health insurance policy of yours, your family members and your parents, the premiums might increase a lot, and there are high chances that the sum assured will go towards treatment of your parents only. And in the unfortunate case that you or your family members need health insurance, you might not have it. So always have your dependent parents' health insurance separately. We all would have taken loans at some point in our life. We would have taken home loans, education loans, personal loans, vehicle loans, business loans, commercial loans, credit card loans, gold loans, and multiple other forms of loans. But what might be worth exploring is whether the interest rates we are paying on these loans is as per the interest rates offered by competitors in market today or not. What happens is when we take a loan, we are given one interest rate, we do all our research properly, and basis that we choose the best interest rate providing company. That's the normal tendency. But the interest rates keep changing frequently. So it might so happen that after a few years, the interest rates which are available in the market for home loan are less than what you are paying. In today's world, home loan interest is available at 6.5, 6.75%. But if you are still stuck on the interest rate of 7.5%, then it's time to switch to a better interest rate. That will help you in saving money and reducing your interest payment. However, before deciding on switching, also try to understand what are the other factors which might impact your interest rates and the amount of loan which you have to pay. So if the amount of loan which has to be paid is very minimal, then there is no point switching it. You might as well close your loans. Similarly, like SBI Max Gain Home Loan, wherein if you have money kept in your account, then the interest is not calculated on that amount. It's a good feature to have, and if you're getting that even at a slightly higher interest rate, I think you can continue to keep it instead of going for a cheaper interest rate where you also have to give the interest. Equities, debts, gold and real estate. This is how most of the Indians invest their money into and think that they have diversified their portfolio. But you have to see whether this diversification and the allocation in each of these asset classes is as per your risk taking ability or not. So as part of your audit of personal finances every year, check what percentage of your total investments are in equities, in debts, in gold and in real estate, and basis that decide whether you're happy with that particular allocation or not. If you think that you have invested more in equities and you do not want to take so much risk, reduce your equity exposure and try to increase the exposure in gold or real estate or debt. Similarly, if you are a high risk taking person, then increase your exposure towards equity. It all depends on how much of risk taking ability you have. As a general rule of thumb, people say that 100 minus your age should be the exposure towards equity. So if your age is 40 years, your equity exposure should be 60% or. Next point is to try and identify how is the health of your portfolio. So we all invest in mutual funds and stocks. In mutual funds, we invest via SIPs or lump sum. But every year, at least once, try to make it a point to check how is your portfolio doing. Are you getting returns equal to or better than the returns which are being offered by market and competitors? Or are your returns worse than what others are offering? So suppose you have a mutual fund, you have been investing in it since last 5 years. Have a look at the returns which this particular mutual fund has given you, and also compare it with what similar category mutual fund would have given from other competitor, as well as what is the benchmark return of that particular category. If your mutual fund is giving you a lower return, find out why your mutual funds or stocks are giving bad returns or negative returns or less returns than the competitors and the benchmark indexes. If there are any particular reasons and if they are doing so consistently, plan to remove them from your portfolio. You can do that by either doing a STP, wherein you pull out the money from that particular mutual fund and transfer it to the same AMC's different fund, or doing SWP, where you withdraw the money entirely and then you invest it in some other AMC mutual fund. So take care of your portfolio is the next step in your audit process. As part of your audit, check whether you are on track to meet your goals or not. When you would have created your plan, you would have listed your goals, and against each goal, you would have listed the amount of corpus which you need and the time required. And you would also have calculated basis that the SIP which you need to fulfill that particular goal, to achieve that particular goal. So check if your SIP amount is in line and leading you towards the fulfillment of that particular goal. So for example, if you had calculated your retirement corpus to be 5 crore rupees and you had estimated that every month I have to invest say 50,000 rupees in SIP to achieve my corpus, then check after 3 years whether you have been on the right track or not, and whether you still require 50,000 to achieve 5 crore corpus, or whether you need lesser or higher SIP. If lesser SIP, then do not do anything, continue with the same SIP and let your corpus be higher. But if you need more SIP, then see how you can increase your SIP. Check if you have any goal which is near to completion in the next 1 to 3 years. If the goal is near completion in 1 year, ensure that you pull out all the money and transfer it to a very low risk hybrid passive mutual fund or a liquid mutual fund. If it is in next 3 years, reduce your exposure towards equity and increase the exposure in debt. So maybe you can go for a balanced hybrid mutual fund or an aggressive hybrid mutual fund, and there you can have the maximum corpus kept for those goals which are near completion in the next 1 to 3 years. Check whether your expenses for the previous years are in line with your expectations or not. You would have made some expectations, some calculations that okay, this is my salary and this is how much I plan to save and these are the expenses which I have. See if you have met those expenses. Your vacation trips, your shoppings, your goal related purchases, are they in line with what you had set yourself as targets or not? Have a look at those and basis that take corrective actions. If you think that last year your expenses were more, then try to cut down on your expenses in this particular year and take it forward from there. So that's it guys. I hope you found this audit to be useful. Do remember to like, subscribe and share the channel if you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, this is Nishant signing off. Bye, take care, tada.